So today's topic is going to be appraisals.
Appraisals
With an H. We're going to break it down a little, like a quick little summary on real estate listing agent, buyer agent, the buyer and the seller. So what roles, what you should look at when you're in those positions. So let's start with the listing agent.
Yes.
When it comes to an appraisal. What should they do? Should they follow up? Just give them a breakdown of what real estate agents.
So
the listing side.
on the seller's side, you have the listing agent who is going to make sure that they reach out to the appraiser, or the appraiser will reach out to them actually to make sure that they schedule. Stella is so distracting.
Okay. It's okay.
She's so cute. She wanted to say her input. So on the seller's side, you're going to have the listing agent is going to have the appraiser reach out to them, and they will schedule the appointment to make sure that the appraisal gets done. And on the buyer's agent side, you're going to make sure that your buyer has paid and ordered the appraisal. The appraisal will not be done unless it is paid for. So make sure that that's an out-of-pocket expense that's not included in the closing cost.
So the steps that you want to take when getting the appraisal is obviously getting the offer accepted, right?
Yeah.
Escrow deposit, inspection, depending on the time frame that you guys put, 5-7 days, whatever. And then usually the appraisal comes afterwards. The scheduling of the appraisal, okay? My suggestions for the buyer's agent: make sure you're working close with your lender. Make sure they're ordering that appraisal, because it could sometimes take forever.
Yeah, it could be delayed.
It could be down to the line, like at closing, and you still haven't gotten the week of, and the appraisal hasn't been updated yet. So there's a lot of things that could happen with an appraisal. You might get a number, the seller might get a number they don't like, and then guess what? They're going to want a new appraisal. They're going to want to talk terms. There's a lot that can happen. So on the buyer's agent side, have great communication with the lender and be like, hey, look, let's get this appraisal done. We did the inspection. We need this ordered. The listing side, I think, follow up with the buyer's agent. You could even reach out to their lender and let them know, look, where's the appraisal at?
Yeah.
Because you also are working with that 30-day time frame, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things could happen, and make sure you see that the appraisal has been paid and it's been ordered.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk now about the buyers. So let's say I'm a buyer, right? I got my offer accepted. I did escrow, right? Puse el dinero en el escrow deposit, ¿verdad?
Exacto.
Lo puse, they got my money. Now I
Yes.
paid for the inspection straight. Everything came out good. Lovely. Now, I know I need to get an appraisal on this house I want to get,
Yes.
right? So who do I go to and make sure this gets done?
So you go to the lender and you're going to tell them, okay, here's my stuff. Let's get the process rolling. So if you're very eager, you can pay for a rush fee, which is usually around $200 more. But it should cost you in 2022 a standard of anywhere between $500 to $700 for the appraisal on a regular fee.
Yeah. So now if I rush it, how fast do I get it?
Usually it does come pretty fast. It depends, but it could take 1 to 3 days instead of the standard timing, which is about a week if it's an FHA loan. Sometimes the conventional loans can be a little bit faster, and VA can be around a week as well.
Now, I want to touch a topic that might not be, it's still about appraisal. But let's say I'm the buyer, right? And I'm hoping the appraisal comes lower than asking, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It comes higher, right? Can I back out?
No, you cannot back out, because based on your legally binding contract, you have accepted the purchase price. And if it comes back at that, you cannot back out because of that, just because you were hoping.
Good job, bro.
So that's why it's always very important to make sure that you're happy with the monthly payment or the whole purchase price, because it's a legal binding contract.
Good. All right. So let's be clear with everyone out there. You heard Amanda. She said it very clearly. You agreed to the purchase price.
Yes, correct.
You're committed. You signed on the purchase price, so you cannot back out, guys.
Yeah.
Make girls, whatever.
People.
So make sure you guys understand that. Okay. So great information on the buyer side. So now the seller's side, the appraisal. All right. I accepted the buyer's contract. They already paid escrow, inspection, same thing that we just went over the buyer. What can I do to find out? Should I be worried about the appraisal as a seller? Should I make sure my realtor's on top of it? Or should I just chill and lay back and hey, it's all going to get taken care of?
Well, I would definitely not stress it, because it's out of your control on the seller's side. Your realtor did really explain to you based on the comps that they did in order to list the price of the home. It should be definitely around that. But yes, you want to make sure the appraisal will come back. You don't, as a seller, get a copy of it. It's only provided to the buyer. Not even the buyer's realtor gets a copy, but they will have to show you proof if the appraisal comes back lower than the purchase price on the contract. contract, because of course you're not just going to take their word for it. Like, hey, it's $50,000 less. Sure, I'll drop it without
cool,
proof.
No problem, dude.
Yeah.
Got it. Hey, don't worry about it.
Yeah, go right ahead. Whatever. 100,000 less. Okay.
Oh shit, no problem. Take it for free. Right? While you're at
definitely don't stress about it. We're big believers on, hey, positive vibes. Let's pray for a great appraisal, because yes, it does make or break the deal, but it's based on the appraiser. Let him do his job, and then you can always rebuttal it based on your copy. If he used comps that you didn't feel was good, we have had the sellers kind of try to rebuttal and see if they can change,
which is fine, which is all normal. Now, let me ask you a question. When the appraisal's at the location, who can be present?
Okay, so at the appraisal, when the appointment is being done, it should only be the listing agent and the seller, because obviously the buyer is a conflict of interest. They might want to try to persuade or bribe the appraiser, which is definitely not allowed. And the seller's technically not allowed to speak to him to try to persuade him or her to try to lift up the price or do whatever they want. So they'll just ask them certain questions like, hey, what does the HOA cover? Things pertaining to the house are the only questions you can talk to them about.
And let them ask you the questions. Don't go and overwhelm them and talk to them, because they could walk out on the appraisal and say, look, they weren't letting me do my job. So you don't want that.
They're still people.
They're still people. Be nice. That's their motto. Be nice. Okay.
Be kind always.
Be kind. Be nice. So when they do get to the home, answer their questions. If you're the seller, answer their questions and, let them in. Do what you got to do. But the buyer cannot talk to them. And I don't recommend the seller talking to them about pricing the home. Okay. Because that's going to cause a big conflict. You might need to get a new appraisal. Going to postpone the process. Just let him do his job, or her, and just wait for the appraisal. And you touched a good topic about not stressing it. Let me just touch base with what Amanda said. Be comfortable with the payment, because you're going to have 30 days of stress.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're expecting it to appraise lower than the purchase price, you're going to stress yourself out, lower your budget, go for another house. Okay? Or stay in your budget and go for another house. Don't try to overcommit if you're not comfortable. Me and Amanda, what she taught me, which is great, the purchase price is great. Can they afford that payment monthly? So they're not stressing those 30 days. It's
We're big
supposed
believers.
To be fun.
Yeah, it's true. It's supposed to be, your home is your sanctuary, and you don't want to be having to work a bunch of overtime in order to afford your home.
Yeah. Listen, I've committed to cars that sometimes when I was younger, I'm like, damn, my whole check is gone on this car. But
I'm sure every guy has done
that. But I didn't care back then. But now I'm older, so I still buy a lot of junk, but I know that I can afford it. And I don't buy more than I can chew, right? So that's a big recommendation for everyone trying to buy a home out there. Just make sure you can afford the payment, okay? Listen to Amanda.
And the lenders always are going to try to approve you for your max that you get approved for, but definitely they do their debt to income ratios. But you want to make sure that your own budgeting, because they don't always account for every single payment, so that you can live comfortably. Life is short. You don't want to
come home to your home and then just be happy and love it, not regret it. And look at it and just like, man, this thing is taking all my money. All right, don't look at it like that. Be comfortable. We just want to throw it out there for all those new home buyers.
Back to the topic.
So now the appraisal came back.
Yes.
All right, so the appraisal's back on time. Yes. Give me a yes. Yeah, the appraisal came back on time, enough time so both parties can see it and can agree to the purchase price, right? Or to the new price that you're gonna have. So let's say it comes back lower, right? The price, let's say 500, it comes back at 475. What's the step that you should take as a buying agent with the buyer, right? You're the agent, buyer side. What should you do next step once you see the appraisal came back lower than the amount?
So you're gonna have to ask your buyer for the copy if the lender hasn't provided it for you, and you will have to present it to the listing agent so they can present it to their sellers. And then kind of wait and see. Let's see how cooperative the seller is. Maybe they'll want to negotiate if the buyer can possibly pay a little bit over. And in some cases, it always, at least in our situation, we've always kind of made sure it worked out. We've always negotiated with the seller to make sure that both parties have a beneficial outcome in this situation.
Come to a mutual agreement, okay? The seller just passed by me. She's right here. See if she'll tell.
That camera.
She'll tell. There you go. Make sure you tell your seller the information up to date.
The appraisals are very thorough. It's a long report with lots of pages where they show you the reason why they use this certain house as a comparable.
Can you get it as a personal appraisal? Can you just buy it yourself? Can you pay for it on your own? Maybe a realtor wants to do it because they want to find out what a home is worth.
Yeah, so there's two different types. So we'll start really quick with a refinance appraisal. So let's say you've bought your first home, in 2 or 3 years you want to refinance it to maybe get some cash out or to change the interest rate, the bank will ask you to do an appraisal. Based on that, they will maybe give you between 80 to 75% loan to value. Then you have the market value appraisal, which you can use that before you list your home. If, let's say, for example, the seller and the realtor kind of have like a big jump in price.
Yeah, and another thing I want to add in there, if you do happen to get an appraisal before listing your home, when you do list your home, you could actually use that appraisal as a selling pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you tell them, look, it's priced at appraisal value. You could show that buyer that's very interested and it's like, no way I'm paying that much. And they're, well, look, we already have an appraisal here and it's recent. So I think we covered every topic.
Yep.
Thank you guys again for tuning in.
Thank you.
With Amanda and Gino. And we hope that you enjoyed this video. Yes. If you did, leave a comment, say, hey, great video.
Yeah.
Right? We don't mind that.
Show us the feedback. Or tell us what you didn't like.
Or tell us what you didn't like or what do you want to hear.
We're here for it.
Maybe you want to hear something we didn't cover. We'll cover it for you. We have the time. Leave a comment, like and subscribe. Maybe it'll pop up around here somewhere or here or there. Whatever. We'll figure it out. All right, guys. Thank you again. See you on the next one. Have a nice day. Bye. My home. Right. I got my offer accepted. I got the extra deposit.
Why are you laughing?
Because I already know you're going to crack.
I wasn't. You made me cry.
This is a blooper reel.